time hit from Granum. Ooh. Driven in the air, deep to right. If it's fair, it's gone. Red slam!
All right.
It's a new season on Fred TV. The spring is here. Final week of March, and we have boys volleyball opening night for you live from the field house. Hello again, everybody. I'm Evan Massoud. Great to be with you after about a month off since we had playoff basketball right here at Durfee High School. The boys volleyball team back at it after what was a really great year last school year. You know, it was kind of a rebuild. There was a lot of growing pains throughout the season a year ago. The team ultimately got to the tournament. They had a home win right here at the Skip Karam court, and then they went to BC High, where their season ended in what was a tremendously good loss, if you can call a loss good. But that's what Coach Kelly said. Now, in speaking with him just a couple minutes ago, prior to the start of this one, he said, this is not a rebuild. They lost some key guys last year, like their setter, Chris Matuzik, one of their best hitters in Chris Milford, but this is a new year, in quote, from Coach Kelly. They are not rebuilding. He's been excited. He said the practices have been unbelievably good, and there's a positive vibe around this team to get things going here in preseason. So, what does that all translate to live game action? Well, it's hard to know. We have to speculate because these guys haven't really seen that yet. There was a jamboree earlier in the week, but still kind of not the same thing. And you have the Quincy Presidents here for opening night. Quincy, one of the oldest boys volleyball programs in the state, and we see them every year. And now this year, this is actually a conference game because the conference has changed for boys volleyball. We'll dive into that a little bit as the broadcast goes on. So, a lot of unknowns, but Coach Kelly very excited about that and says, don't be mistaken, we're not rebuilding this year. So we'll see how it all translates as game one is about to get underway right here at Durfee. Stay tuned, live coverage after the break.
You wouldn't be on your phone here. You shouldn't use it here.
Go, 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 go. Where are they? Where are they? Get off your phone! We lost again because of you.
You wouldn't be on your phone here. You shouldn't use it here. You wouldn't be on your phone here. You shouldn't use it here. Don't let your intelligence be artificial.
Get your info from a real person and not a news feed. Show up, FRPS, and lock it away for new beginnings.
We welcome you back to the Luke Urban Fieldhouse. Evan Massoud with you here as we begin the spring sports season. Great to be back with you. Durfee and Quincy ready to rock and roll in our first coverage of the new season. Looking forward to getting back outside, too. Next week, weather permitting, we'll have our first baseball of the season on Wednesday. Somerset Berkeley scheduled to come to Durfee on Wednesday, 4 o'clock first pitch. So hoping that the weather will continue to improve and it won't be a challenging spring. It's sometimes in the fall we can make do with what we got in terms of, any weather, because we'll work inside the press box, of course, at the stadium. But little different story for the spring when we don't have, a fully sealed structure that we can work in. So it's certainly a bit challenging, needless to say, but we're hopeful that the weather will cooperate with us here in spring 2025. Durfee going to start this one off with possession. And our first serve of the new year for boys volleyball. Here we go. And it is going to sail out. The President's JV team took care of business in 2 sets. That's why we're starting a few minutes early here for varsity, that is. 5:15 scheduled start, but it is only 10 after. Played on the back line there. That was Zondo Pichardo, and it goes out of play. Durfee will have their first point. Coach Brendan Kelly back leading the Hilltoppers. Wish he was sitting with me here at the broadcast table. We did a lot of basketball in the winter. He's kind of my usual broadcast partner for basketball. But Brendan has been coaching volleyball as long as I've been doing this. My first season of high school sports was the spring season because I came on May 2012. And he was the first Durfee coach I spoke to actually on the job. I remember they were gearing up for Wareham at the time, and that was a team that he felt was a good tune-up for the tournament run that they were going on that year in 2012. So consistency is a good thing, even at the coaching position, of course. So nice that Brendan is still here and still leading the program. Gabe Gentile will serve for the Presidents. That's a good serve. A lot of power behind it. Off the fingertips there. It was sent over by Frank Picardo. Big swing, but it'll go out of play from Wheeler Sokol. A couple freshmen on this team on varsity for, I said a couple, just the one, excuse me, and that is Sokol. So he getting the start as a first-year Hilltopper. That hitting the HVAC system, for those of you who are new to watching volleyball here at Durfee. Everything in play, the scaffolding, everything above you is a playable ball and an obstacle that has to be dealt with if it does, in fact, ricochet in the ceiling. You know, Durfee with the big field house here, but the ceiling not particularly tall when you compare to some of the newer gyms that have, you know, an upper level, like, for example, Somerset Berkeley has that upper walking track of the second level, stuff like that. So this gym here, while huge, it is not the highest ceiling for a field house. And even Dartmouth, I think, which is a little newer, obviously. I think Dartmouth's even a little taller than here. They have a big one, too. Kept it going. No, it's going to be a point for the Presidents. So, yep, got to be ready. There's a lot going on up in the ceiling. We have rolled up screens. We have the lights, scaffolding, PA system, basketball nets that have been folded up. That's sent over. Good dig. Now that's in play. Got to be played. And Quincy, the little late reaction for their libero there. Devin wrong. Again, maybe not anticipating. You know, he's not on his home court. And that one came back to bite the Presidents. Five 5-4 Quincy lead in the early goings here. Good serve for the Hilltoppers. A lot of spin on that receive. Now hang time and a big swing on the far side. That was Jake Bassan. And now he'll go serve. Third touch sent over cleanly, played by Nicholas Mangino. And now the Presidents having to send it over on the third touch. Good hit there from Darwin Herrera at the net. Violation called against the Presidents. Durfee will get the free point and the ball. I mentioned in the open the last time we saw volleyball was the playoff game out at BC High, the game that ended Durfee's season. But let me tell you, in a loss, I don't think I've, in now this is my 14th spring season, but in 13 seasons, if you going back to last year, I don't think you'd be hard-pressed to find. That had to be a top 5, maybe even a top 3 best performances out of boys volleyball team for Durfee that I've seen. And that's saying something considering that it was a loss. And what makes it, and why I say that is because New Bedford last year was incredible. And they ended up getting BC High in the next round, or should I say BC High got New Bedford in the next round, and New Bedford had nothing for them. So, and that's a fact. Durfee competed, and Durfee played BC High better than New Bedford did, and New Bedford was a clear favorite to get pretty deep into the tournament. So how about that hit? Let's just take a minute to let that settle in. Gentile was not very genteel with that swing at all. But big time spike, big power behind it, downward action, right around that 10-foot line there. That's nothing that you can do with that. But no, seriously, and getting back to that playoff bracket last year, truly, the BC High game there was unbelievable, and definitely a crushing loss for sure, but tremendous gameplay and a really good performance. So a lot of those guys, are back this year. There's a lot of seniors on this team, and hopefully they can build on that despite losing some key guys. I mentioned Matuzik in our broadcast opening, and it's because he was a setter, and that's kind of your playmaker, right? That's why they call it the setter, setting the play, setting the ball for whoever's going to try to get the kill, and so that's tough. Violation for Durfee. We'll give it back to Quincy after the serve there. So that's something that Durfee's going to definitely have to work with and work through. Mason Freitas, number 15, is the setter, has been named the setter. He is a senior, and so he's taking the duties here in his final season. Wow, what an effort by the Presidents. That was Bassan who really finished that off, and now the block in front by Gentile. Vetoed by the Presidents. It's 11-7. And a timeout here. Well, I mentioned about changes to the conference as well. We know the Big Three made a return this year for the school year, but for volleyball purposes, the Patriot League and the Big Three have joined. So it's the Big Patriot League, and Durfee, by default, getting a whole slew of extra conference games, something that I am highly in favor of. Not a fan of a 3-team conference, never have been. But so tonight does count as a conference game. They're going to see Hingham, North Quincy, New Bedford, of course, Silver Lake, Brockton. Those are all going to be conference games. So it's more than half the schedule, and that's a good thing because it makes the games mean a little more, in my opinion. That's, in a way, why I was very happy when we switched to the Southeast Conference and we absorbed Dartmouth and BR a couple years ago. It gives you, makes your schedule a little easier to put together, that's another thing. I mean, we talked in the winter sports season about the Hockomock league being, basically all D1 and tough opponents, but having 10 teams, I mean, certainly could try to split that up into 2 and take Brockton, New Bedford, and Durfee as part of that. That's another, just speculating, throwing it out there. Mayflower with Diamonds in, they've over the years created different iterations of that. Now there's 3 different branches of the Mayflower. There's the large, the small, comprehensive. It can be done. But that ball just hung up there. No spin at all. A little knuckleball. A little baseball reference on opening day. Down to the court. That was a tremendous series for the Presidents right there. Even getting caught out of system, able to regroup. Fantastic communication. So, but in any case, I'm happy that, because especially for boys volleyball, there just aren't really many opponents down this way. And a lot of these teams, like Quincy and North Quincy and some of the South Shore teams or Boston area teams, Durfee would see on the regular anyway. So I'm certainly okay with creating a merger at the very least just for the volleyball season. So we'll see how it all pans out. It's a new thing. There are some teams that Coach was saying they've never seen before, and but the programs have gotten better and built up. So, again, same situation. Kind of new for everybody. And I think, personally, it's a good thing. I mean, I get the tradition of the Big Three. I certainly do. And there are some that'll be hardcore advocates for it no matter what you say, and that's okay too. But more teams in a conference, in my opinion, are always better than less. So, now with that said, just because Durfee's playing a home game against Brockton doesn't mean necessarily that we're going to cover it now that there's so many more conference games. We want to see some different teams. We see enough of Brockton, quite frankly. We see enough of New Bedford. The rivalry's good, but we have that flexibility, this spring in this kind of tester situation that we're in for the boys volleyball season. So just because Brockton may be coming in doesn't necessarily mean that game will have. So just kind of putting that out there. Because frankly, I like seeing some different teams. I try to be very cognizant of not doing the exact same schedule every year. For that very reason, as Durfee goes into another timeout. Since the timeout, the first timeout, they haven't scored. And Quincy now up 9 points here in the first. And baseball has some very high expectations coming into this season, especially after the run they went on last year, getting into the Elite Eight against Severian, a very winnable game on the road, too, against one of the truly elite programs in the state. So this season getting cut short a little bit from what their hopes and dreams were for a state title. But we saw Durfee dethrone Taunton, who were back-to-back state champs. We saw them win at home in the playoff game. I mean, they just had an amazing spring last year. As you know, we may recall, we went to Cooperstown with the team during the spring vacation to document their trip and their exhibition game at Doubleday Field against Case. That was awesome. So there was a lot of great things for baseball. And again, kind of like with volleyball here, there are a couple key guys they lost, but there's a lot of guys back. And for me, I think baseball has the highest expectations out of any of the teams. That's just, again, my own analytical opinion. Softball we saw some good moments last year. A team that really struggled because they just didn't have much pitching. But we saw the bats get going last year, which was great to see. got to have their new stadium finally back on campus. A lot of good things. That ball is in, and that's another point for Quincy. And it's 18-7. So softball, we'll see what kind of a start they get off to. But pitching is always the challenge with softball, it seems. Again, happy that their bats got going this year. We do have both Diamond games on the schedule. Diamond versus Durfee for baseball, and then for softball as well. So hoping the weather will cooperate so we don't have too many postponements here in the spring. Regular season ends early. Last scheduled games are on May 22nd, so before Memorial Day. That seems quite a bit earlier than usual. But there is always a little leeway in case of postponements. So trying to flip it backwards over the head was Nathaniel Borden-Mariska. Could not get it over. And it is the 20th point for Quincy, who's on a run here that's reached double digits. Punched at by Braden Bartley. This is coming back. They fake it. It looked like a fake, unless it just didn't materialize, but it sure looked like a bit of a fake there. Third touch, poked back over. Now Durfee sending it back, sideline, and is it out of play? It is. And it's the 21st point for the Presidents, and continuing to serve is Pichardo. Blocked in front, needing some help. Nobody going to get there. Bartley did what he could. That one gets through the front line, and Durfee stops the bleeding. They'll go back on the serve. And it's going to be Bartley. That one was curling, and it does bend out of play. Gentile will serve now for the Presidents. That one coming in with a lot of force, sent over by Picardo. Bartley there, it's going to go up into the scaffolding, and it's bouncing around like Plinko. My goodness. Well played, by the way. Poked over by Picardo. Presidents have to do something with it. That one coming straight across, almost parallel to the net. Bassan gets the kill. It is set point here in the first. High set. Goodness gracious. Gentile had to wait a while for that to come down, really lofting it up. And then ended up swinging late on it. Steven Hernandez. Durfee's libero. It goes out of play, and that's it for set number one. Tough first set. Quincy really with a dominating run there in the middle of it. 25-9 here in the first. We'll step aside here, take a quick break. Back in a flash for set number two, live from Durfee. Stay with us.
Right here, 150 years ago, a bustling rail line cut through the Spindle City.
The Old Colony Line was among the most utilized railroads in the United States.
People, mainly immigrants, some children, labored in mills. The railroad was essential to manufacturing and passenger service.
However, transportation methods evolved. For generations, these grafts of land were wasted space. Years of careless industry polluted the Quincy River. Cherished by native people, the name translates to falling water.
Conservationists advocated to reverse environmental damage and repurpose the tracks. The architectural firm, Brown, Richardson, and Rowe, designed the pathway which opened in 2017. Some components are visionary. Other sections replicate endeavors in cities elsewhere.
Quincy River Rail Trail is hidden by tree cover to buffer highway noise. The 2.5-mile route is habitat for many species, which, when quietly observed, foster an innate respect for nature. 12 years ago, voters approved a 1.5% property surcharge to fund the Community Preservation Act. Totaling nearly $425,000, CPA money was necessary for each phase of the rail trail.
Expansion is dependent upon continued revenue. Fall River joins other communities to develop a continuous 50-mile route of the South Coast Bikeway. CPA funds have supported thousands of significant projects in Massachusetts. Thank you for your continued interest in community beautification and betterment.
Welcome back to Durfee, everybody. Both teams not using the full 3 minutes here. Quincy back on the court. Durfee just breaking the huddle. Still 30 seconds listed remaining in the break in between sets. Our official checking the rotations now, making sure everybody is in good spot here where they belong. Remember, folks, we live stream right here on Facebook on Fred TV Sports. Give us a like and a follow there so you don't miss a minute of the action when we are live. And we archive to our YouTube channel under the same name. So if you're so inclined and you have a Gmail account, log in and click the subscribe button on our channel so you don't miss any uploads. And I say this now because Facebook is making some changes to their servers. Can't really handle the influx because so many people are using Facebook to live stream now. So they've implemented a new policy. It's going to be implemented, I should say. All live streams that are then archived on the page. So, you know, when we sign off, it's still visible on the Fred TV Sports Facebook page. Those are only going to be active for 30 days after the live stream. So today, March 27th, in 30 days, theoretically, this live stream on Facebook, the posting of it, will be automatically deleted. They just don't have any more space, I guess. That's what I gathered from reading it, is that they're not able to keep all of this long format video content saved anymore for the people using the pages. So all the more reason why the YouTube channel is important, so that you can go back. If it's been more than a month, you'll still be able to find our content. It just may not be in your newsfeed any longer on Facebook. So an important change that Facebook's making. I'm not surprised. Honestly, I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, because especially when COVID had started and, you know, capacities were limited, fans couldn't come to games, and so many people were going the live stream route, including us. I figured it was only a matter of time before that happened, so needless to say, YouTube is a little more stable anyway. You know, they're meant for video, and of course you're able to, you know, on your smart TVs, you're able to, their YouTube channels, that functions a lot better than Bluetooth casting or mirroring of a Facebook video. So I recommend the YouTube. We just don't stream on YouTube because we don't get as many viewers. Facebook, people see the notification, and we get more of you to watch, and more of you see our content live on the Facebook page than on YouTube. So that's why we've done it this way, and we'll continue to. But for archiving purposes after the fact, your best bet is the YouTube channel moving forward. With that said, we talking about your TV sets. For those of you who still have cable and still have Xfinity, as you know, we run Channel 9 and Channel 18, and then community media, Channel 9's education, Fred, FRG TV, the government channel, we also run that. That's Channel 18. That's out of play. And then FRC Media, the public access channel, that's Channel 95, run out of BCC. Well, part of the new cable contract with the city that the city signed with Comcast when that was up for renewal was the addition of an HD channel. So we have a Fall River HD channel now, which is on 1072, and it is combined programming from all three, and including some sports. So we're still working out a more regular schedule, regular time slots for certain programming, since it is a shared space, between the BCC crew and us here at Durfee, out of Durfee. But in case you didn't know that, you can, in fact, watch now local television in full HD on Fall River HD channel 1072 on Xfinity on Comcast. So I thought hell would freeze over before we ever got an HD channel here in the city. I'm not going to lie. And I say that because I've talked to enough, I think you folks know, between Dartmouth and New Bedford, and then, collaborating, sharing content with Brockton and others, from especially over the last 5 years, when, again, with COVID, we were limited on what we could do. We started sharing a lot of content and working with a lot of these other channels, operations like us. And they all said the same thing. Said Xfinity's never going to put the money forth to give an HD channel to the PEG channel operations, PEG being public education and government. But we got it, and it was really cool to the first day we were able to see it. Of course, I switched it on at home because I wanted to see what it looked like. And it's like, wow, cool to see our work on a TV set on cable in full HD. Because I think you all know, for the longest time, the channels really did not look very good because of all the old equipment, all the old lines and whatnot. So it's a huge improvement, and one that is necessary for 2025 and the technological world that we live in. So it's good stuff. And so 1072 is the HD channel. Seven to 6. Durfee back on the serve. It will be Mason Freitas handing it off to Jose Carias. It's lined up, left-handed serve. A little miscommunication there, and Quincy will have to send it back on the third touch. Bartley with the swing, played in the back. And that's going to fall in. We've seen Bassan with some real powerful kills, and that time didn't get the best swing on it. And I think Durfee caught Durfee a little unsuspecting, ready for something a little stronger, and it just kind of dropped. Misplayed there on the back line by Giovanni Maltalvan. And it's 9 to 6. We had a great winter sports season. Another year that we saw some really good action. If you missed it, just about 2 weeks ago, we had the Winter Sports Awards, and for the first time doing it for all the teams. Is that a double touch? It is. All the winter sports teams under one roof in one area, and that was the auditorium. And I was honored to be asked to host the awards. And so I think it was really great. And we got to see all the athletes supporting each other, all the teams supporting all the other teams, and really a nice change, in my opinion. So That's currently airing and is available to watch if you missed it. Wrestling, we still are not totally done with wrestling because we have some tournament footage from some of the individuals who qualified that are still working on that footage. You'll see it at baseball next week. That's the plan. It's a montage of, we had one individual that actually, Melissa Pinto, who made it to the New England tournament, and she placed. They placed top 6, and she placed at New England's, which is just an incredible accomplishment. And she's only a sophomore, so I'll tell you, wrestling is really come a long way here at Durfee over the last few years, and great to see that. So we'll have a highlight reel to show you next week on our next broadcast as we wrap up the edit on that. And that would officially close the book on the winter season. 12-6. As Quincy starting to separate, give a little distance with their lead again, much like the first set. Great diving effort from Devin Wrong, but nobody else there to help. So Durfee will get the ball back and go on the serve. And it looks like it is number 5, Darren Herrera. Good set, looking for a big hit, and they get one. It was deflected, swung at in front of the net. The ball does not make it over as Zondo Pichardo tried to send it back and was unable to. Herrera sends it over. That one short as well, as Alex Liu swinging a little bit late there, getting a little coaching from teammate there. Owen Short, number 7. On the back line, big swing. That was going long. Herrera ended up playing it. It was coming straight at him. And he'll give the Presidents the ball back. And Wrong, the libero, going to serve. Misplayed there on the far side. It was close to the boundary, but stayed in. Liu, second time, not able to get it over. Needs a little more elevation there. And yet, frankly, they need to set him a little closer to the net, too, because he's swinging from almost 10 feet. See, that's where he needs to be. Exactly there where Gentile just got that spike. We've seen Liu when he's going to swing and elevating, he's at least 3 feet further back from there, and that makes a huge difference. It actually went out of play. The point goes to Durfee. It's going to be a tough play, sliding towards the bleachers. Freitas all smiles as he gets up. Point goes to Quincy, and it's 15-11. Good serve. That will land inbounds in the corner. Good serve from Bartley. The set for Gentile. Hard off the front line, dug out and sent back by Durfee. And that was Hernandez that saved that one. Now coming in, flying in for Ruji Pierre. And he does get the point as he buried it between the front line and the net. But a great defensive play by Hernandez. Durfee's libero wearing all black. Good play there in front for Durfee. That was kind of in between. That's going to go out. It's always so difficult when you get led towards the net and it's kind of teetering whether it's going to make it over or not. And then, you know, you don't want to hit the net. Obviously, no violations, but there's a fine line there when you get within the 3 feet of the net. That one dug out and then to the ground it goes. Pinero unable to loft it high enough for anybody else to make the play. That ball was dropping fast. Lou will serve again. Good dig that time. Blocked in front. Comes right back. And it is 19-12. Timeout, Durfee. Quincy playing quite a few matches on the road to start the year. In fact, 6 of the first 8 that they're going to play are going to be away from Quincy High. They're playing tonight here, and then they will not play again until next Wednesday. That'll be a home game against Hingham. And then they're off till the following Monday, where they'll visit Silver Lake. And then Friday, April 11th at Barnstable. So a lot of room, too, in between matchups. A lot of downtime, which is not necessarily a good thing in the beginning of the year when you're trying to get a rhythm, to have so many days off. That is in, and Durfee with the point. Now, transversely, the Hilltoppers here playing tonight. Tomorrow they'll travel to Hingham. They're playing tomorrow. They're playing Monday. So they got 2 more games mixed in before Wednesday, which they're also playing on Wednesday. They're going to be at New Bedford High. So a little more of a balanced schedule for the Hilltoppers to start the year. Quincy back with possession, 20-13. Good set, punched at by Short, and it's good for the point. That one gonna go well out of play. Bassan getting a lot of force behind it. Great serve there from the Hilltoppers. That's gonna fall in though. So just as quickly as Durfee got possession there, and a good serve from Freitas, That one falling into no man's land, and Ferrugi Pierre will serve now for Quincy. 3 points away, taking a 2-0 lead in the match. That's going to go long. Freitas with the set. Big swing there for Durfee. Played in the back line. Comes right back. Trouble kept alive. Third touch. Presidents keep it going. Great dig from Wrong. And Quincy will get the point, up by 10, and it's set point here in game 2. That is going to be in, is the call. A very delayed inbounds call, almost as if they weren't sure. But they give the point to Quincy. And it is an 11-point victory here in the second set, as the Presidents take a 2-0 lead here in the first match of spring 2025. Break time here at the Luke Urban Fieldhouse. We'll be back after the break with the third. Stay with us.
St. Anne's Shrine is an anchor building to Fall River.
Many worshipers have claimed that this landmark is the site of miraculous healings.
Construction began in 1891. The Romanesque revival style is unprecedented, and the 160-foot steeples are visible from all directions. The congregation was established generations ago when builders mined world-renowned Fall River granite located at the base and utilized Vermont blue marble for the upper exterior walls.
"40 years ago, the shrine was added to the National Register of Historic Places. Despite some disrepair, this is a working building, open for prayer and reflection. In addition, a Christian lay organization distributes food from here on Saturdays."
Amazingly, 3 priests are entombed below. Volunteers with St. Anne's Shrine Preservation Society expect this house of worship will again welcome pilgrims from near and far, as well as historians, architects, and school children.
11 years ago, voters approved a 1.5% property surcharge to fund the Community Preservation Act. Over $150,000 was awarded for repairs on the southern side of the building. Craftsmen are entrusted to restore the slate roof tiles, copper gutters, and downspouts. Phase 2 entails duplicate copper and slate work, as well as repointing of mortar joints. These efforts will permit the upper church to reopen for the public.
CPA funds have supported thousands of significant projects in Massachusetts. Thank you for your continued interest in community beautification and betterment.
Fall River Public Schools has opportunities for positions in multiple areas for people looking to work with the next generation. Come grow with our team. We have openings for teachers, paraprofessionals, and teaching assistants, and other educational support positions available. We are also looking to fill operations support positions such as custodial, security, and food service. We offer competitive salary and benefit plans. We have rewarding work available in our 21st century schools and learning environments. Come grow with us. Please contact the Human Resources Department at 508-675-8420, extension 53708, or see our postings on our website at fallriverschools.org.
Welcome back, everybody, to Durfee High School. It is the third set, opening night here. Both teams playing for the first time in spring 2025. And Durfee getting the home opener here against Quincy, but they have some work to do as they are down 2-0 in the best of 5. So Quincy on the other side hoping for a series sweep. I should say a game, really a clean sweep, not necessarily a series, but Durfee will start with possession here in the third. And a bad serve to start for Durfee. Talked about Durfee's playoff run a year ago. They beat Everett here at home in 3 sets, and they lost to BC High in 3 sets. But as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, certainly that didn't tell the whole story. And Durfee was 13-7 a year ago. Very good season. Quincy last year, a tough year, and hoping to have better results this season. They were just 6-14, and they did not make the tournament a year ago. And Durfee got the best of them twice. They swept Quincy a year ago, 3-1 and 3-0. And here tonight, the Presidents hoping to return the favor against the Hilltoppers. That one out of play. It's 2-2. Big time swing right there from Bassan. Now Gentile will serve. We have a change at libero here for Durfee, so we may have to check on that for next game because Durfee's libero was wearing 55 and it was a different person. It's a different player. It's 4-3 now. Now number 25 is the libero, and we have neither 55 nor 25 on our roster. It's all right. Flipped over the shoulder. That is going to be Durfee's point. It's 4-4. Oh, man. Great swing right there for the Presidents, who now are up 6-4. That was Short who was in on that. It looks like the libero at 25, that looks like it's Bartley, who was wearing 4 earlier in the game. He was not the libero earlier in the game. But I'm not seeing him on the, it looks like him, not seeing him on the sideline. I'm not seeing any number 4 on the far side. So it looks like Bartley is now the libero for Durfee here in set number 3. So I'm not sure if something happened to Steven Hernandez, as he was the libero, but no longer in the game. Into the net it goes. Durfee will get their 5th point. Good serve from Correas. That is out of play. Durfee's point. Nice crowd here for opening night. Good fan base for both sides. Of course, the JV players here watching and cheering on as well for both teams, but not a bad crowd at all. That one just out of bounds. A lot of spin. 3rd touch coming, and it is dumped over cleanly and misplayed by Wrong. I don't think he realized that ball had a lot of spin and a lot of momentum on it, and he just kept backpedaling. Durfee will serve. So that is, all right, so Hernandez wearing number 7 now and not the libero. So that was the change, because there is Hernandez now. He just served. Coach Kelly pulling a few fast ones on me here on opening night. We'll talk about that. Because to be fair, Hernandez is listed as a libero and an outside hitter, so he is listed as both. But Bartley was not, so that's kind of what caught me a little off guard. Trying to dig it, and nothing doing. Good effort. Min Nahim will serve again. Short serve, dug out. Herrera sending it over. Now a set on this side for Quincy. Herrera again has to backpedal, can't truly get the set he wants, but it works out anyway. Durfee gets the point. And it's 10-8. Oh, man. Gentile once again. There is nothing as a defense that you can do with that. That does not make it over. And it'll be 12-8. That's going to find its way to the court. Jonathan Pinero, good placement. Just enough to get over the front line. And nobody behind them. Durfee's serve. Have to wait a moment. Rotational change there. Herrera down by 3 here in the third. Winding up and firing. Jake Bassan. That's in. And the ace for the Presidents. Gentile with the clean ace. He will go back to serve again, but he'll have to wait a moment. Durfee into the timeout. Both teams break the huddle. Gentile back to serve now. His team up by 5. Another good serve. Bartley cannot make a play on it. That time right at Bartley. Herrera will make a play, and now third touch, it's dumped back over by Freitas. Big swing coming in. Bartley, good placement, sends it right back to Quincy. They're a little out of system. Short has to send it over. And Durfee's Picardo getting a big swing, third touch. The Presidents keep it alive. Punched at. Bartley will send it over. Look out, big hit. Durfee keeps it alive. The front line blocking Bassan that time. Still in play. What a rally we got going. Trouble towards the bench. Third touch. Can Durfee keep it going? They cannot. Oh, what an effort. What a rally. Unfortunately, the Hilltoppers get the short end of the stick. Good communication from both sides. Having to scramble multiple times for the ball. And it is 16-9. Scoreboard here in the gym has not been updated, but it is 16-9. Oh, that's out of play. Huge spike. Now 17-9. That one skips over and through. 18-9. So that long rally, just getting the word from the scores table, they replayed the point because the official, quote, was in the way of Durfee trying to make the last save. So 17-9 is accurate. Things we miss when we're on the other side of the gym. We're usually on opposite side of what you're seeing, but having an issue with the bleachers today, and they were concerned about them not functioning properly. So we're on this side for today. Sure, nothing major. I'm sure we'll be back over there soon, maybe as soon as the next match that we're in here, but always like to be nearer the scores table. That's the whole point, because then kind of have a better grasp on what's going on. Perugi Pierre on the serve for the Presidents. Durfee playing it cleanly, and the Hilltoppers looking for a point. That will go out of play. Good placement, parallel to the net. Hard to make a play on it, but you don't have a lot of real estate to work with, and it went out on the sideline. Setting up, and it's short. Not a good hit there or decision by Bassan, who's been very, very good today. But that one kind of indecisive. You saw him like he wanted to wind up, and then he just kind of waited and half-heartedly swung at it. A little surprising. Violation there on the serve. A little too long of a stride for Pinero. The unforced error will give the point to the Presidents. Bassan will serve. 5 points away from an opening night win and a sweep of the Hilltoppers. Now 4 points away. Good serve, and that finds the boundary line. It's good for the ace. This time Durfee playing the back line with caution, not letting it get behind them, and wrong with some miscommunication between him and Justin Din and Owen Short, and that one drops. Jose Carrillas will serve for Durfee. Down 10, late stages of the third set. That one goes into the net. Will not make it over. A good swing from Alex Liu, but he's had some trouble as the outside hitter there when he was on this side of the court and now on that side. Having some difficulty getting it over the net. That's going to go long, and control goes back to the Presidents. They'll look to try to serve it out. Their final 2 points needed. Wrong will serve. Nice serve from Wrong. Herrera coming in, gonna poke at it. Nice dig for the Hilltoppers, keeping it alive. That will go over the net. They'll quickly set it, and it's down to the court. And it is match point for Quincy. Presidents lead by 11. Third touch lofted over by the Hilltoppers. Presidents can finish it here, and they will. Poked over by Gentile. Not a lot of force behind it, but enough to get the job done. A 25-13 third set. And the Presidents with a rather dominating victory here on opening night, sweeping the Hilltoppers. Set number 1, 25-9. Set 2, 25-14. And here in the third, 25-13. So Durfee drops to 0-1 on the young season. Presidents 1-0. They'll see each other again well into the season. In fact, on the final 10 days of the season, they will get the rematch here. It'll be on May 16th. So almost 2 months from now is the next time they'll see each other. The third to last game, excuse me, of the season. So, well, great to have sports back here on Fred TV. Great to be back with you live on Fred TV. Remember, folks, we live stream on our Facebook page, Fred TV Sports. Click that like button and give us a follow. We archive to our YouTube channel under the same name, so you can subscribe there as well. No cost, no subscription needed for either. Everything's free and accessible to you. Quincy comes in, sweeps Durfee, 3-0. The final score. Jake Fitzgerald running camera for us on opening night. I'm Evan Massoud. Weather permitting, we will see you for baseball next Wednesday at 4 o'clock. Enjoy the rest of your week.